Today we're inside a tense Capitol Hill exchange. Senator Josh Hawley pressed a FERC commissioner about private briefings to donor groups with energy interests. The back and forth raised serious questions about ethics and transparency. So, here's how it started. Senator Hawley pointed to emails from a FOIA request suggesting the commissioner joined a funders-only session at a donor-backed foundation. Hawley asked, "Who were the donors?" The commissioner claimed it wasn't fundraising, just a staff meeting. But if donors were present, it meant briefing financial backers behind closed doors.
Let me ask you, some emails disclosed last year via a FOIA request showed that you briefed a funders-only session at a left-leaning grant-making foundation called the Energy Foundation about FERC 2022 priorities.
Hawley pressed, "Who were the donors? Was money raised at this event?" The commissioner insisted no, calling it a stakeholder meeting, but she admitted most people she talks to have financial interests. A jaw-dropping moment. Hawley made it clear, speaking at donor-only sessions with groups that have a financial stake in the industry you regulate is deeply problematic. In Washington, there are already major ethics concerns, from lawmakers trading stocks to regulators holding investments. Hawley said if this isn't illegal already, maybe it should be.
Who were the donors who attended that session?
There was not fundraising in the meeting you ask about. It was a convening of foundation staff from across the country, and I was having a very kind of straightforward, above-the-board conversation about 2022 priorities. Subject to my ethics agreement and any ex parte restrictions, I have an open-door policy, so I meet with all kinds of stakeholders. I've actually never said no to a meeting between either my staff taking it or myself.
Wait a minute. You said it was staff. The FOIA information says it was advertised as a funders-only session. Donors.
I'm not sure. It wasn't an advertised thing. There are foundations that work together.
It was briefed as a funders-only session, meaning that there were donors there. So who were the donors?
I think it's important to understand that what my role to do is engage with these stakeholders. When I was invited to present to a group of foundation staff, just like when I'm invited to present to the board of...
I don't understand what you keep using the word staff. The information says that there were funders present. There were donors. I want to know who the donors are. Who were the donors? You give me a list?
I'd be happy to. I
Good.
don't remember specifically, but I'd be happy to.
Good. Was there money raised at the event that you spoke at?
No.
What were the FERC 2022 priorities that you spoke with this donor group about?
I gave my standard speech that I give when I speak to any convening of stakeholders who participate in the sector.
You use stakeholders now several times. Does that include industry donors? Is that a definition of stakeholder now? Our major donors?
Yeah.
Do you think it's appropriate that you would be giving closed-door briefings to donors?
No, and I didn't do that, sir.
What do you mean you didn't do it? This is the information says that it was a funders event. It was a funders only session at a foundation that raises money from donors.
I provide my stump speech on my own FERC priorities to many different kinds of groups.
Donors?
Many convening. Some of them might be donors in any capacity. Certainly,
Did any of those donors who were present that day have a financial interest in the energy industry?
Almost everyone I speak to has a financial interest in the energy industry.
Oh, wow. Okay. So this is a normal practice of yours to speak to groups that have financial interests in your industry?
So when I go and I talk to the board of EPSA or the EEI CEOs or the interstate pipeline member companies, all of whom I have spent time with, the idea is that subject to ethical responsibilities and also my ex parte restrictions, I engage with them. I tell them my priorities.
Do you think it's appropriate, my time is running out here, do you think it's appropriate to speak to advocacy groups at a donors-only session? Do you think that that's appropriate?
I think it is appropriate to speak with foundations who are interested in the energy.
To their donor sessions? Wow. Wow. I have to say, I think that that's pretty problematic. I would like a list of the donors. I'd like to know who was there. I'm concerned about this, what you've now described as a pattern and practice of speaking to donor groups that have financial interests in the industry you are regulating. I think that's a big problem. If that's not currently foreclosed by law, we ought to foreclose it, Mr. Chairman. But you said that you do this on a regular basis. We'll probably follow up. I think I'm probably going to need to see a list of all the groups you've spoken to. I'm going to want to know the donors that you've spoken to. I am extremely, extremely disturbed by what you have just told me. And at a time when we have major ethics issues, we've got members of Congress buying and selling stock based on information that only they are privy to. We've got members of the executive branch who are buying and selling stock in industries that they regulate. And now we've got you speaking to donors in industries that you regulate.
Senator, thank you.
That's a problem.
Hawley asked the commissioners directly, "Do you speak at donor-only meetings?" Most said no. One clarified he'd never spoken at a donor event, nor solicited donations. Hawley pressed, pointing out the event was advertised as funders only, raising ethical concerns. This exchange revealed the blurred line between regulators, advocacy groups, and financial interests. The commissioner defended her actions, saying foundations play a role in energy policy like CEOs or investors. But Hawley fired back, demanding a list of every group and donor the commissioner met with, warning this could undermine public trust in regulatory agencies.
Senator Cortez Masto asked on this ethics issue, can we just go down the line? I know what the answer is as it respects Ms. Clements, but for the rest of you, Chairman Phillips, do you speak to industry groups, to donor meetings behind closed doors of donors who may have financial interest in your industry?
No,
yes
sir.
or no? Next.
No.
Go ahead.
I didn't speak at a donors meeting. There was no donating happening, and you don't have to take my word for it. You can talk to my agency ethics official who saw no problem and has not seen any problem with any of the meetings I've taken during my term.
But it was a funder. It was a meeting of funders, donors. You're saying that there were no donations solicited, right?
These are policy-focused foundations who participate in the sector by making grants, just like PE shops make investments, just like CEO utilities make investments. There was no inappropriate conversation that took place.
If I can interrupt just 1 second, make sure I understand. I think what the senator's trying to get to. Did any of you know you're going to a donor-sponsored event? There's going to be donors. My goodness, special interests is everywhere. Everybody's. But going and speaking in generalities of what you do, what your thoughts are, and you all probably have all been in those, and you didn't go and solicit saying, well, I'm going to a donor to give them a little bit of red meat, what they want, so they'll give more. Is that correct? Is that where you're going, Senator?
Well, I'm disturbed by the idea that anybody, and this is why I was worried when Senator Cortez Masto asked the question, everybody answered yes. I just want to be sure that we're not going to events that are funders-only events. Funder means donor, that are donor events.
You mean advertised as one?
Correct, yes,
Okay.
sir.
Does any of them advertise as donor events?
Yes, sir. As this one was. What about you, sir? Do you speak?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. Yeah, I would hope not, and we'll have a lot of questions for the record on this. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to clarify that.
No problem.
I'm alarmed by it. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Here's the bottom line. Senator Hawley calls this a major ethics red flag. The commissioner denies wrongdoing, but the optics raise concerns. Should regulators speak at funders-only events, or is that favoritism? Drop your thoughts below and don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next video.